What's up everyone, my name is Ray and today we're going to go through the new patch for World of Warcraft Dragonflight, patch 10.2.5, Seeds of Renewal. I have not played any of it on the PTR, so this is going to be my first look at it as well, so let's dive in. First off, we have the city of Belemeth, which is going to be the new Night Elf main city. You'll find a bunch of familiar faces there, as well as some old Night Elf artifacts and original Night Elf housing. We are now also able to dragon ride anywhere in Azeroth. This is limited to dragon riding specific mounts. You can't use dragon riding on a regular mount yet. Hopefully in the future we can. Next up is the Azerothian Archives. This is purely a transmog based reward system. There is no player power related to any item you can get here, which makes this a nice optional thing you can do. Next up, we've got the Reclamation of Gilneas. I started this and it's actually a super fun storyline to be able to take back the city of Gilneas. You'll find some familiar faces and a few new quests to do. And last but not least is follower dungeons. I was able to try one out so far on a brand new alt, a class I've never played before, so it was quite interesting. When you first log in, the first thing you're going to see is a prompt to start the Reclamation of Gilneas questline. Once you accept the quest and follow the prompts, it will eventually take you to your capital city. If you're on the Alliance, you'll take a griffin right into the city of Gilneas itself. Getting here for the first time was a really cool experience to see, as I never played through this on the Alliance. Naturally, one of the first things I did, because you can dragon ride everywhere now, was I hopped on one of my dragon riding mounts and I explored the city of Gilneas. In the city, there are no shortage of quests to do. I played for about 2 hours and I wasn't able to complete the entire quest line. So that is something to look forward to if you are someone who enjoys questing and enjoys the lore behind a lot of the quests. So now we're going to go into my first experience in a follower dungeon. You do have to be level 60 and you will only be able to choose from one of the beginning Dragonflight dungeons. I chose to make a monk because I've never played a monk before and I wanted to experience what it would be like maybe as a new player in a follower dungeon. Queuing up for these dungeons is instant, so right when you queue up you will get into one. The dungeon I got into was Nokun Defensive, a dungeon that I know pretty well. I tried to take the stance of someone who didn't know how to do these dungeons, so I tried to let the NPCs just do their thing. As you can see on the left, there is an extra action button which you can command the NPCs to lead the way, or you can command them to follow you. I tried letting them lead the way, but they wouldn't mount up and they wouldn't make their way towards the first boss, so I switched it to have them follow me. For someone that's never been in this dungeon before, you would have no idea where you're supposed to go. So having NPCs that don't lead the way kind of defeats the purpose. Eventually we were able to challenge some trash packs and the tank did do its thing and it did tank the mobs pretty easily. It did take some guidance on my part even in the NPC leading mode. Eventually we did make it to the boss and I will say that this was a little bit frustrating as the NPCs were not doing any of the mechanics even in the mode where they're supposed to be leading. I found myself as a melee DPS running to try to do the catapult, which obviously didn't work out as you can see because our whole group wiped. I did eventually end up just doing the mechanic myself. This would be frustrating for a new player who probably wouldn't understand what's going on and would be relying on the NPCs to do the mechanic, and them not doing it would just lead them to repetitively dying. So I do think there needs to be some tweaking when it comes to boss mechanics. I will have to test more bosses, but as far as this boss, this is a pretty simple mechanic for an NPC to do, and they just weren't doing it. If you like this video, please consider giving it a thumbs up and subscribing to my channel. I'm going to be making more of these types of videos in the coming weeks. If you have any questions, feel free to leave them in the comments below and let me know about your first experience in a follower dungeon. Thank you for watching and see you next time.